Okay, hi guys, sorry. Okay, so I get into the reading. I have with me, so I mostly use, okay, it's off. So I mostly use the same decks when I do most of my readings because if you're like new to tarot, you're familiar with tarot, you have to connect with your decks that you use. Like some decks I can only use for myself. I can't read it for other people. Then I have some decks that I don't even really use at all. But these are my three favorite ones. So if we're doing these lives, like I'll still introduce the decks to like new people who are on, who tune in later. But I usually use the same three decks. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the tarot deck that I'm gonna be mostly using this reading. Is called Spoilia Tarot. So this is made in Brooklyn by Jessica Crispin and Jed May, and this has the zodiac signs in it as well as the 4 elements. So those cards might be coming up in the reading. I have postcards from the liminal space. This is created by Bakar Winneter, and she owns a shop, Everyday Magic, where I actually got my crystals from here today. So this is an oracle deck, so we'll be pulling some of these cards. And then I have Morgan's Tarot, which is the sister to postcards. So going to be using those. Just going to go ahead and start shuffling the deck. So I'm going to use a mind, body, spirit, past, present, future spread. This is a very just like easy traditional spread that I thought would be good to kind of give us a little bit more direction on what's going on right now, and hopefully some future insight of how this situation is going to go. Have some sage here. I love the smell of sage. Okay, just gonna keep that burning for a little bit. All right, Florida water is the best. And if anyone has any tarot questions or astrology questions, I'm actually doing more posts on my blog. It's like my website, thepunkpriestess.com. So feel free to log on to that, and there's some links. I have like a new tarot link right now, so if you're just getting started into tarot, some good tips and resources to help you learn tarot. So I try to, tarot is a personal practice. I try to always make it like very simple to understand, and same with astrology, because a lot of these divinatory tools can be kind of confusing sometimes. There's like so much information you don't know where to start. Like same with crystals too. So I try to break it down and make things pretty easy so that you can incorporate it in your daily life, because it is a great tool to use every day. I like to get a good shuffle. Sometimes it doesn't always happen. So how are you guys doing with life? What are some good shows? I've been watching Tiger King. Thank you, Megan, for suggesting Tiger King to me. That's actually been taking my mind off of everything. And the memes are straight fire right now. And all the TikToks for Tiger King, I love it. I've been watching that. I've been watching Little Fires Everywhere, that show with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington. That's really good. That's on Hulu. I've been watching that. Then what else have I been watching? Marvelous Miss Maisel. I'm trying to finish that. I don't really like it this 3rd season. It's not really that good to me. What else? Charmed, the classic. But yeah, I'd love to get your movie and TV suggestions. I'm always looking for something new to watch. Okay. And shuffle. Love when that's perfect like that. All right, so I'm going to start with the spread. Oops, 2 cards here. This here. Okay. All right, so the spread is laid out. And before we get into the reading, let's just ground ourselves. If we have our feet firmly on the ground, loosen up a little bit. Have a sip of your water or your tea or your tequila, wine. I should be drinking alcohol, but okay. Inhale faith, exhale fear. Inhale faith, exhale fear. So we have on the top, mind, body, spirit, and then on the bottom we have past, present, future. So I'm just gonna get into the reading. So the first card, this is representing our minds. So this is the thoughts that we're having now, thoughts that we've had in the past, where our thoughts are going or where our thoughts are taking us, like a lot of like mental action that's happening right now. Okay, so we have the Chariot reversed here. So this is the major arcana card. So Chariot also represents the sign of Cancer, despite the momentum that you would connect the Chariot card. So the Cancer horoscope sign is also being pulled through with the major arcana card of the Chariot. So with this card, this means that we're kind of mentally, maybe we're really kind of mentally feeling that we really cannot plan our lives forward right now. They really are stationary. Like our mode of transportation, our car, our bike, just our momentum in general, our physical bodies, we are stuck. We cannot move forward at this time. We're kind of on pause, like red light action. And mentally, we're really starting to see that. We're really starting to focus and shift our mental thoughts and actions towards stability. Because Cancer is the sign of having its shell, like its home is literally attached onto the crab back. And the crab likes to hide into their shell for protection. And right now we're in our homes during this quarantine for protection against this invisible virus. So mentally, we feel like we're encased. We feel like we're kind of trapped maybe in our own mind. A lot of us might be feeling, you know, we had distractions of work, we had distractions of friends, like we kind of were able to separate ourselves with our mind by doing something else. And now that we are really kind of stuck with ourselves, we have to face our fears, we have to face our demons, we have to acknowledge that we cannot go outside, we cannot live our day-to-day life like we've been for eternity. So for right now, the Chariot is showing up as like we're mentally really processing that we cannot have momentum right now. We cannot have forward action at this time. And, you know, that's all we can do. Kind of like last week we were pulling some cards, especially with Aries season, we want to move forward and we want to progress and we want to do things and have new beginnings, fresh starts. And we're realizing we can't really have that energy in that terms of action. So the action that we can take is at home on our couch. And that's just solidifying, like physically, we got the point, we got the message that we can't physically go anywhere. And now mentally we're realizing, oh, I really mentally have to prepare myself that I don't know how long this quarantine is going to last. Like I was talking to a friend recently today, and they were like, I wish, you know, they would just tell us, oh, in 2 months, this would only last 2 months, and then you can be free and you can go outside. But we don't even have a timeline for this. You know, so now we're mentally seeing that, we're mentally preparing ourselves that this can go on a lot longer than what we initially thought, what we initially expected. And there's kind of some security in that, but there's also some fear because, again, we're still faced with the unknown. Like on a physical level, we're unknown to us what can happen to our bodies. And now mentally, we have to be strong, and we have to prepare ourselves with our thoughts that we might be in this for a lot longer than we anticipated. Like, I know for myself, I was planning on being in Michigan until April 15th. I'm like, oh, I'll go back April 15th because I had my friend's wedding that's now canceled on the 18th. So I had like everything prepared in my mind, and in 2 weeks it's going to be April 15th, and things don't look like they're getting better. And now I'm mentally preparing myself that I'm not going to be able to come home until at least May into New York City. Hopefully things get better. So a lot of us are now starting to mentally be like, well, this might be a little bit longer than what we thought was going to this was going to take. So having that like register and set in collectively, all of us, as we see the days go by and the weeks go by and how this is progressing very quickly, you know, we can't get shell shocked by this. We have to make sure we're mentally prepared. So let's go back to the second card, and this is our physical body. How are we physically? So we have Four of Wands reversed here. So this is more of a minor energy, but Wands is fire energy. It's collective energy. With the Wands card, you want to be able to celebrate with your friends. This is kind of like a small celebration, like a graduation, or a birthday party, or some type of festivity or a completion, like a baby shower or something. Like celebration, and having your friends be in attendance, having your loved ones be in attendance. And I think our physical body, like connecting back to our mental body, we're not an action-oriented energy right now. We're stationary. And Wands is fire energy. So on a physical level, a lot of us are realizing we're not going to be able to celebrate our graduations in person. You know, these graduations are being celebrated in our home, in front of our computer screens. You know, a lot of people were probably planning on like weddings, like my friends who was canceled, or having graduations, or birthday parties, like yours truly, or just like any other type of milestone things, like a baby shower, celebratory things, we can't even do. And also for people who are losing their lives to the virus, their families cannot even hold a funeral for them right now because of fear of contamination and the social distancing. It's like you can't even celebrate the dead at this time and like honor their life because of this. And physically, you know, a lot of things are on hold, and we have to find a way to improvise on a physical level how we're going to celebrate milestones in our life, because it's still okay to want to celebrate your birthday party. It's still okay to want to have a wedding and have a graduation and just little things like that, or like competitions, like, you know, sports. A lot of athletes, like they just canceled the Olympics, like are not going to really be able to portray their skills and their accomplishments to the outside world right now. And that's showing up, that we cannot on a physical level show up for people in our lives, show up to celebrate aspects of ourselves and our achievements, our graduations. We're going to have to put that on hold. Mentally, we're going to have to put that on hold, that mindset that we can do these things. Even going to concerts, even going to festivals. Like they canceled so many festivals already for music and other different creative outlets. And, you know, it's all coming like through the chakra system. It's all connecting, that we're shutting down many aspects of our daily lives, and what's normal to us is being shut down. And that's something that the Chariot is telling us. This is a huge influence. It's telling us that we need to start comprehending this as reality. So that was body. Now we're going to go into spirit. This is a good sign. So we have the sun up right here. We cannot lose hope. We cannot lose our positivity. We have to continue to go towards the light. We have to continue to believe that the sun will come back around. We have to believe that the darkness can only last for so long. And that's true. You know, there's 24 hours in a day, and it's split between the dark and the light. And the light actually has more hours in the day than the night, depending on the time of the year and locationally where you are, because positive energy is stronger and longer lasting than negative energy and negative influences. So just remember, like, you cannot lose hope, you cannot lose your faith, you cannot lose your positivity and your joy for life. Like, continue to still living. You know, yes, like, on a mental level, you have to start thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to probably do this with my friends. I probably won't be able to celebrate this event with my friends, with my family. But just know you can still find ways to spiritually celebrate yourself, to spiritually know that this is not going to be the new normal, that things are going to be okay in the long haul. The world will revolve a new cycle in a couple months, especially when the sun comes around, because right now in the Western Hemisphere, it's winter, it's spring, you know, it's cold. Their sun's not really out, but what's going to kill this is the sun. What's going to kill this is warm temperatures and climates, because it doesn't do very well in the heat. And we have to remember spiritually, like, this is not the new normal. We're going to get through this. We just have to stay positive. We have to continue to check up on our loved ones. We have to continue to look out for each other and to be a beacon of light in someone's life. Like, yes, a lot of people are alone and they might be down on themselves, but be that light that fills their day. Be that, you know, sense of hope that that person has, that they're not alone. And just be like, you know, hey, I know, like, you're alone, and, like, how about every day we FaceTime? How about every day, you know, we just check up on each other and see how we're doing, and, you know, making sure you're just, like, cheering up and keeping that morale up for everyone, not just your circle of friends, but even through social media, just being that presence of spiritual positivity and, you know, just uplifting people, even if it's, you know, sending someone a TikTok or whatever, like, that cheers someone up, as long as you're able to laugh. But we cannot get our spirits down. We have to keep our spirits up, and we have to remember, you know, this is just a cycle. This is just a year. You know, this year the Earth is going around the sun is a little bit challenging and difficult than what we all thought, but the sun is still going to shine. The Earth is still moving. And each day this gets finished faster than what we thought. Each day is a new day, and each day is a new day that we're getting out of this situation. And things are going to be better, but we cannot lose our spirits, we cannot lose our hope and positivity in the storm, because we cannot let the darkness win. So let's go into past, present, future, and then we're going to pull a couple cards from the Oracle decks. Okay, so in the past position, this is where we're coming from. And when I read past, present, future, I'm a very short-term type of tarot reader. I'm not someone who reads, like, far out in the future, because I like to keep things realistic. I think it's kind of phony to be like, oh, 2 years from now this is going to happen. I'm more so like, what can we focus on, you know, the next, like, couple weeks, the next month or two, and then what was happening in the past couple months in terms of past position. Okay, so we had the Knight of Wands here in past. And this card means a lot of things to me right now. And the Knight is also fire energy, Wand energy, Aries energy, Leo energy, Sagittarius energy, reverse energy. And the Wand can represent, the Knight can represent an aspect of yourself or someone in your life, male or female. And with the past position, I think this represents a lot of our global leaders kind of being assholes in a sense, and just not taking this seriously when they could have in the beginning. And that's what Knight energy is all about. It's just kind of like recklessly taking in an idea, recklessly going out into the abyss, and not really being concerned about limitations or anyone else. It's just like, you have an idea, you have a goal, you're blazing forward ahead, and your inspiration, your aspirations are the only thing that matters. And that gets in the way of what other people want for themselves and want for each other. And that's why this card's reversed, because of the lack of care, the lack of consideration that our political leaders globally have had for us. And we are here, you know, and I don't want to get political, but the truth is political, because we are here because we do not have good leadership in this country. We do, like, globally, you know, the patriarchy has fucked us. And that's what the Knight is showing up reverse. This is a very masculine energy. And even, women have masculine energy too. So it's not just saying men did this, but, there wasn't precautions taken that were needed in the beginning. And now this is rapid. This could have been controlled. They've had news about this for months. So, I just, like, everyone wants to, point a finger at one country or this, when it's actually on a global level, everyone fucked up. So we need to take responsibility for that and try to figure out a way that we can be better so we can try to contain this from just taking over everyone's life. It already has in some way, but it can get a lot worse. And we don't want this to be like the movies and, like a Walking Dead situation. But we just don't have the leadership right now. And that's why we're in the past, because people weren't taking responsibility and weren't stepping up when they could. Now we're in crisis and we could have avoided this. So I don't know. I'm looking at this card, I'm actually emotionally quite angry and I'm quite disturbed because I feel like this could have been prevented, and it definitely 100% would have if we had the right information that was being collectively and globally shared. And this is the first time in human history that this has actually affected every single country. It's not just like the Spanish flu that was only in, Spain and France and Europe. This is actually, everyone. This is not just like contained in one country. This is everywhere, and this is the first time. So now we have to learn. This energy is not going to save us anymore, because it got us in this mess. So you can't look for the answer from the mess. You have to look for the answer in a new direction. So let's see presently what's happening. So we have Ace of Swords upright, and this is actually hopeful. Again, this is more minor energy. It's not as strong as the Sun and the Chariot. But with this card here, new words are going to be said. New forms of actions are going to be taken. New people might step up in leadership roles and give us new information, planting new seeds in how we can move forward and survive, and different ways that we can do this together. I think this is a great card. I'll show it a little bit more. It's actually a really pretty card. But I just think presently we are getting the information finally. Every day you turn on the news, it's something else, like, oh, this is a symptom, or this is happening, or there's more information being spread, and we can blame the past position on Mercury retrograde, communication not being shared with the collective, lack of, and now we're kind of out of that energy. We're in Aries energy, and we're talking again, because unfortunately it's gotten to the point where we have to communicate with each other. But just Ace of Swords energy, it's like, and it's upright. This is good. Like, information is getting spread across. We're now, mentally preparing ourselves with Chariot reverse energy, that this is what's the reality is right now. We can no longer hide from the reality. Mentally, we have to mentally, get out of these lies we were telling us that, it's not gonna get that bad, it's not gonna end. Like, we are now finally waking up on a conscious level. But spiritually, we know that the earth will have another rotation around the sun, and things will have to get better, and things will after they get worse first, but we cannot lose our spirits. But presently, we're just all absorbing this new information. That's all we can really do, is just watch the news, like, not, being addicted to it, but just, once a day, just seeing what's going on in your state, what's going on in your country, just like getting like the daily news, so you can keep on track of this. You can try to save yourself and save the ones that you love, and to help someone else out. The more information we have, the stronger we can collectively be to stand up for ourselves and to fight against this. And we can try to help each other out. So information is good, but this is Ace energy. It's the start of the suit. It's just marinating. We're just starting to get this information and get the message across. We're just starting. It hasn't really marinated 100%, but it's slowly starting to trickle in our minds that we cannot escape this at this point. We can't physically escape it, and we can't mentally escape it, but spiritually, we can escape it by staying positive. We can't have it crush our spirits. Okay, so let's go near future. So we have the Two of Coins reversed. And this is just kind of like a card of what goes around comes around, karmic energy, and it's chaos. Like you might be juggling too much that we're able to handle. And I think future, you know, it's going to get worse for a little bit because it's two energy. It's minor. You know, this is not like crazy major arcana energy. This is minor energy just showing up that, you know, in future, you know, day by day, little by little, the cases are going to increase. More people are going to test positive for it. More people are going to die of this. Like we saw it escalate slowly. And we're seeing it escalate slowly. On my stories last week, or actually this week, I put an app that you can go on and you can see the most updated cases. Every 6 hours globally they update. And you can just see like how fast it's progressing. And there's a lot of like hands like in the kitchen right now. And it's kind of chaotic with like what each state is trying to do, what each state isn't doing, what the government in Washington is trying to do and what they're not doing, what this country is doing, and you know what this other country isn't doing to help spread this. And it's like, you know, we need to figure out a way to work together, but first it's going to be chaos, and we're seeing that. The information that's coming to us, it's information, but doesn't mean it's the right information. It doesn't mean that it's helpful. It's just news. It's just more facts that we have. But at the end of the day, it's still part of this clusterfuck that we just came out of, because the people who are feeding us this news are the ones who could have prevented it and started the fires. And now we're the ones who have to get burned in the process because we rely on these institutions. We rely on government and the people and our political leaders to lead us. And if we don't have leadership, we're going to fall into this chaotic cycle of the Two of Coins reversed. So, I mean, but we can't lose our spirits because we have the sun here in spirit. You know, we have to stay positive and just know the truth. And the truth is that we mentally have to prepare that this is going to take us some time to get out of. But hopefully we can all find a way to get this energy of the Four of Wands reversed upright again, so we can come together collectively and celebrate how we're going to get rid of this and how we're going to fix this issue. Because right now, there is no cure. There is no answer of how this is going to end. Like, you know, I'm like, what are we going to do? And the answer is, no one knows. No one knows in the future. Everyone's hands are up in the air and they're just like, I don't even know. Let's just try this solution. Let's try this. Like, let's see if this works. You know, juggling multiple courses of action. At least it's action, but again, who knows how helpful it is, because the words that you spread could still land into making the fire bigger. So we have to be careful of what information we're giving each other and where we're getting our information from. Because if we're still getting it from people who are spitting fire, from politicians who are lying to us and not trying to help us, and who wanted to kill us in the first place of this because it could have prevented it, you know, we're going to continue to end up in this energy of fuck shit, this energy of no one knows what to do, because no one knows what to do right now. But we need to find a way to collectively figure that out together. And that's going to be the challenge. Pull a couple here. Sorry. Look at the tone. Okay. Like, shit's getting real. And I would love to be like it. It's not. It is. Alright, and I'm going to pull one more. Actually, no, I'm going to pull another from Spoilia. All right, so let's pull in a couple clarifiers to wrap this spread up. The first card I pulled from Postcards of the Liminal Space is what is chaos to the fly is harmony to the spider. So I think I pulled this last week. But this card here is just showing us that, you know, this chaos that we're in right now, it's planted because, again, going back to the Knight of Wands energy, could have been prevented. But there is some sick satisfaction that the government is having with watching us squirm right now. The government, this virus, whatever's attacking us is the spider, and we're the fly right now. We're the fly, humanity, the innocents, us, normal people, who aren't from trust funds, who aren't, you know, part of the 1%. Normal people around the world who are suffering and dying from this, from what our government failed to do to help us. We're that fly that is scrambling and squirming in the spider's net for our lives. And there's, you know, you think like the political people in Washington like really care as they sit in their mansions, or the celebrities really care as, you know, they have their staff waiting on them and they're in their infinity pools. They don't, because they know that they have the money, the resources to survive this. Whereas the 99% of us don't have that comfort in crisis, in a pandemic like this. And we're right now, you know, we're not in harmony, but the 1% is. And eventually, I think, you know, this pandemic is going to switch, because it's going to be like the French Revolution. I love Marie Antoinette to death. Love her. But, you know, the French had the right to attack and take over the monarchy. And this pandemic is probably going to inspire another revolution, that we need to take back control of this country and take back, you know, even globally, like other countries need to band together and to take control and to spread the wealth, spread the information, spread the power, because this whole spread is like, you know, because the information, the resources aren't being utilized properly, we're in this trap, we're in this net that we're trying to fight for our lives right now. Like, we're all vulnerable because of government, because of poor leadership, because of lack of information and lack of care and concern for others. We are now afraid to leave our home. We are now afraid to spend time with our family on a physical level. We cannot do that right now because of the 1%, because of higher powers. And, you know, that is the sad truth, but things will change, because the spider is never going to last 100% with its power, because sometimes the flies, they break themselves free from the spider's web, and they live, and then they tell other flies and other vulnerable insects where the danger lies, because the information is now out of the box. So we have here with Morgan's Tarot, insignificant change, the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. And this whole situation, you know, like, the universe is sick, but we are the ones who are sick in the way that humans have been living for so long. And we need to try to realign our values and realign what's important to us, realign for what we live for. We're not trying to live for Instagram. You know, some people are sadly shallow and they live for the gram. They live for attention. They live for material worth. They live for, you know, having the nicest like iPhone and all this. It's like, at the end of the day, that iPhone, how much money you have in the bank, is not going to save your life over this virus. And that is what the caterpillar is trying to showcase, is that we will bloom out of this. But right now, we're going to be in our cocoon. Right now, we're waiting for the metamorphosis to happen so we can transform into this butterfly. And, you know, hopefully things will change. Like, how significant is this world going to change so that we can turn the situation upside down and not have the spiders dictate our lives? What insignificant change needs to happen for all of us to collectively decide that we need to do better, that we need to place our value on human life instead of dollars and bills? What is it going to take? And what's going to happen is the Seven of Wands energy. We're going to be fighting to protect our turf. We're going to be fighting for what is ours. And, that's, unfortunately, for a long time, a lot of us were afraid to fight. A lot of us were afraid to stand up. But now when it comes to the point where you're in a global pandemic and people are dying left and right, you're losing family, you're losing friends over something invisible, you got to try to find a way to fight against it and fight against that spider and show them, like, we will not put up with this. We will not put up with you continuing to be greedy, continuing to put capitalism and money over our lives. Because at the end of the day, we are the caterpillars and we're going to eventually be the butterflies. A lot of the people in Washington, a lot of the political leaders around the world, they're old. They're old as sin. They're going to die. Most of them aren't going to make it. This pandemic that they released on all of us that, they could have tried to fix early, that's going to kill them. And is that karma? I don't know. That's the Two of Coins reversed, showcasing in future. It's like, what you thought wouldn't kill you actually will, because you're valuing the wrong thing. You're not aligned with the right thing. And the people who never lost hope, the people who stayed positive in the storm, are the ones who are going to have this transformation and get out of this alive, are going to be healthy enough and strong enough to change things. Like, we are the future. I know that sounds so corny, but the young are the ones that are going to really showcase that they're strong enough to fight this thing, and the old are unfortunately not. And yes, there's going to be some good people who are older who are going to lose their lives over this, but a lot of the people who aren't going to survive are the ones who, were greedy in Washington, who didn't care about the rest of us. And everything catches up with you in time. Karma waits, and if it doesn't hit you, it's going to hit your family line. And that's what the Seven of Wands is showcasing, is that karma is going to come and it's not going to play. And that's just how it's going to be. One more card. I don't mean to sound so grim and political, but the spread has made me mad. But I think we're all starting to collectively get frustrated with how things are being handled and what's not being handled in this crisis. Okay, so last card, the enemy of intuition is self-doubt. So we cannot doubt ourselves that we deserve answers. We cannot doubt ourselves that we deserve being compensated financially for this hardship that was sprung up upon us, suddenly. Intuitively, we have to know that this is not how the story ends. Intuitively, we have to know that this too shall pass. Like, the sun will come around again. Right now it's night. Right now you wake up every single day and you're in stimulation. You're like, oh my God, like, I'm just living the same day in the same routine. But you got to find the strength and the beauty and the reward in that, and not give up hope that you will have this transformation. You will become a better person out of this, and collectively and globally, we're all going to come out better in some way, have more sense of regard for life than what we've had in the past, change our value system, but also too, just know that we can't doubt ourselves. We can't doubt what's going on. We can't hide and lie about what's going on. We can't lie to ourselves, and we can't lie to each other, because we need to continue to make sure we try to find a way to spread the right information and plant the right seeds of information. so that instead of lies and instead of complacency thriving, we're working together to empower everyone. We're working together to do the right thing for everyone instead of what was done in the past, which was fighting for the wrong thing and having the wrong people be in charge. So this is really like, we have work to do, but you know, we can point fingers and blame, but that's in the past. Like, we know the truth of what got us here and who brought us here in this situation. Now we can take that information and try to work on a proactive plan on how we're going to move forward and fix this, because the 1% isn't going to fix this. They're insignificant at this time. The conscious collective, the rest of us around the globe, are going to have to band together and find a way to fight for each other, and that solidarity is going to help us transform this world on a large scale. And we're going to eventually win and be that spider, and they're going to be the fly. So thank you so much for this reading, and every Saturday I'm going to do a new a daily, what am I trying to say, every Saturday I'm going to do a live tarot reading, and you can book personal readings with me through DM or email. And yeah, like, shit got real this reading, but I'm going to have a picture of the spread for you to see. And if you have any more questions about the cards or want to see like a card closer up, like, let me know and I will do that. All right, well, thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy. Love you all.